Hindsight bias rewrites the history of what we have experienced. It happens when we think the past events were more predictable or under our control than they probably were. We make hundreds of decisions every day, but when we make decisions, we can't possibly predict every potential outcome. We tend to make the best decisions we can based on what we know in the moment. Nobody can predict with complete certainty what the outcome will be. Sometimes bad things happen even when we do everything right, or when we don't do anything wrong. Sometimes accidents happen. Sometimes someone else makes a poor decision or a mistake. If something goes wrong, we may believe that we knew something bad was going to happen all along. We might also blame ourselves for making the wrong decision, even if it was the best choice we could have made at the time. This can lead to us feeling guilty or ashamed about what we did or didn't do. In hindsight bias, we tend to forget about our predictions from before an event occurred and pay more attention to information that we learned after the event happened. We are prone to hindsight bias because it is comforting to think of the world as a predictable place, and because we want to believe we have complete control over what happens to us, even if that belief isn't accurate. Hindsight bias can happen with positive events, like thinking you knew who would win a game when you really weren't sure, or with negative events. When there is a bad outcome, you might say, "I should have known," or "I did know it was a bad decision." For example, you might go out on a date with someone who seems great at first, but the date is a disaster. You might say, "I should have known it wouldn't work out." Here are some other things people might say if they're engaging in hindsight bias. I should have known. I knew something bad was going to happen. I had a bad feeling that morning. I should have done something different. If I had done something else, it wouldn't have happened. I shouldn't have done what I did. I should have been more prepared. I should have tried harder. Hindsight bias can be an effective way to learn from our mistakes, but it can also make us think we had more control in situations than was actually true at the time. In some jobs, we might be trained to believe that if we do everything right, nothing bad will happen. But when we look at the big picture, things are seldom that simple. When we get stuck in hindsight bias, it can help to walk through a series of questions to take a closer look at what happened, what you knew at the time, and what role you played. The exercise on the PAM program will show you how.